we are going to see the longitudinal muscle of the rectum. So it is thick in front and behind and thin at the sides of the rectum. When traced above, the anterior thick band is continuous with the tinea libera and omendalis of sigmoid colon. The posterior thick band is continuous with the tinea mesocolica of sigmoid colon. Now when we trace below, we can see some interesting features. So let's get oriented with this diagram. This whole region is the rectum, while from here onwards this is the anorectal junction. All this part will be the anal canal. So now we will be focusing on this much region to get a better understanding of the longitudinal muscle of the rectum. Okay, we will zoom on. Now we can see, okay, so the inner muscle layer will be the circular muscle layer, which you can see extending till this region. We trace from here, it extends till this region. Here it forms the internal sphincter of the anal canal. This outer layer forms the longitudinal muscle of the rectum. What happens to it? The longitudinal muscle blends at the anorectal junction with the puborectalis part of levator ani. This is the levator ani muscle. This longitudinal muscle joined with the puborectalis part of levator ani and forms a conjoined fibroelastic sheath. You can very well see the conjoined fibroelastic sheath here, this region. This much region is the conjoined fibroelastic sheath. It extends downwards. The sheath extends downwards around the anal canal between sphincter ani internus. This is the sphincter ani internus and the externus muscle. This is the sphincter ani externus. This is the conjoined fibroelastic sheath extending between them. At the lower end of the internal sphincter, at this region, this conjoined fibroelastic sheath turns medially and splits into a number of septa, which pierces the subcutaneous part of the external sphincter. So you can see the sheath over here. It is getting splitted into a numerous septa, which is very well visible over this region, right? And this region is the subcutaneous part. This is the subcutaneous part of the external anal sphincter. So these septa are going to pierce the subcutaneous part of the external anal sphincter and they are inserted into the perianal skin, that is around this region. This is the perianal skin. These fibers form the so-called corrugator cutis ani muscle. The medialmost septum, known as that is this one. This is the medialmost septum. This is known as the anal intermuscular septum. This anal intermuscular septum, on a whole aspect, when you have to imagine three-dimensionally, it is attached to the anal canal and forms a groove, that is the anal intersphincteric groove, that we can very well see in this diagram. This is the anal intersphincteric groove, and this groove corresponds with the Hilton's white line. Now, some septa spread laterally and are lost in the ischiorectal fossa. You can very well see the laterally extending septa. Here also is there. On the lateral side, you will have the ischiorectal fossa. Now, a few fibers extend medially. Here some of the septa extend medially and they turn downwards along the submucous coat of the anal canal, and they also join here. They also join with the anal intermuscular septum, which is the medialmost septum of the conjoined fibroelastic sheath. Some of the longitudinal fibers are attached to the urethra as rectourethral muscle and to the coccyx as rectococcygeus muscle. These fibers help in the anchorage of the rectum.